go for John. Great to be here. I learned a lot from the great state of Louisiana, okay? Believe me. And you've heard me tell the story numerous times. I came here just at the end of the primary, and as you know, I wasn't expected to win. Can you believe that, Louisiana? And I was here a few weeks before, and I said, what do you mean I'm not expected? The crowd is incredible. But some poll, you know, the polls are not very honest. And so they said, oh, look at this sign he's got up. So I came down on a Friday night to a massive hangar. The place was absolutely thousands and thousands of people. I think 25,000 people. And I left and I said, you know, I think I'm going to win this state. And I won the state easily, right? And then I checked on the delegates. And the delegates were, I didn't have as many as people that I beat. And I said, this system is crooked. You mean I come down, I do all that work, I came down, I used one of the biggest hangars, bigger, I don't know, maybe this one, was it this one? But it was a big hangar. Yeah, bigger. And we have a hell of a crowd today, but I'll tell you, we had something. So what happened, I win. And then a week later, I'm going over the count, and it said Louisiana, and it had names ahead of me for delegates. I said, wait a minute. So I won the state. I got more votes than anybody by far. It wasn't even close. And the system is rigged. I said to say, so you taught me. And after that, we started doing very well. We didn't let that happen anymore. We didn't let that happen. We cut it off. We cut it off at the pass. But I want to thank you. This is an amazing state. And tomorrow we need you to go to the polls and send John Kennedy to the United States Senate. And that's why I'm down here. That's why I'm here. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. He's a good guy, number one. He's a good person. And somebody that I've known over the years, and he's somebody that's worked hard for you over the years. And now the big thing, we have to get the people to go to the polls. And if you go to the polls, he's going to win. If you don't go to the polls, he's not going to win. And if he doesn't win, I've got myself a problem in Washington because, you know, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. We need John in Washington, not only for the vote, we need for leadership and everything else. But if you go there, we're going to win. Kennedy's a proven leader who's balanced, which is amazing, 16 budgets. Returned millions of dollars to taxpayers. He's a tax cutter. And he will be a true fighter for Louisiana in Washington. He will be a fighter for you. So important. We need John Kennedy in the Senate to help enact our agenda, and we have to do it. Our agenda on behalf of the people of this state and for this country. That includes protecting the Second Amendment, repealing and replacing Obamacare, securing our southern border. We'll build a wall, that's right. We're going to build a wall. Well, if John's not there, maybe we can't build the wall, so now I know you're going to come out. We're going to build the wall. This is Louisiana. We don't need coats, right? We don't need the coat. And by the way, I don't need the hat either, right? Who wants a hat? All right. Nice looking tall guy. He'll give it to that kid. Come on. We're going to bring back our manufacturing jobs, reduce taxes, big leagues. We're going to confirm our nominee to the United States Supreme Court. Electing John Kennedy will help ensure that government stops listening to the special interests and starts delivering for the national interest, for our country, for our people, the people that showed up to vote, the people that were forgotten people. You know what I'm talking about. They were forgotten. Folks, you're not forgotten anymore, believe me. Nobody's forgotten. I think the Democrats are going to change their game plan next time. What do you think? The forgotten men and the forgotten women are not forgotten anymore. It's time to deliver for you, the American people. To help me do that, I also need you to elect Mike Johnson in the 4th District, another fighter for Louisiana. Mike's father just passed away, So he's in our thoughts and he's in our prayers. Very amazing, horrible timing in a sense, just passed away. And he loves his father, I will tell you that. And his father was a great guy. So get out there and vote for Johnson and vote for Kennedy. Get out and vote. Working with these great Louisiana leaders, we're going to do amazing things for our country. Our plan begins with bold structural reform to create millions of really good paying jobs. We've lost our great jobs. And you know, this is going to be a big part because you're in the energy business more than most places. And we're going to see refineries, and we're going to see pipelines, and we're going to see lots of things happening. So get out there and vote. First, on taxes, we're going to undertake one of the great tax reforms and simplifications in American history. At the center of our plan is massive tax relief for the American middle class. We're also, this guy goes all right. You better believe it, right? We're also going to lower our business tax rate from 35% all the way down to 15%. We're going to start hiring again. And we are going to make it not so easy when companies want to leave Louisiana and go to other states, go to other countries, go to other states. You know what? If they do, I'm sorry, folks, you got to fight for yourself, right? But they go out, they go to other countries, they make their product, they sell it back through a very weak border. We have a very weak border, probably the weakest border. Does it get any weaker in the world than this? You know, we fight for other countries so they can have a border, but we don't fight for our own borders. Isn't it incredible? It's incredible. On regulations, we're going to eliminate every single wasteful regulation that undermines the ability of our workers and our companies to compete. On energy, you more than any other state almost, we will cancel the job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, and clean coal. And you know, we haven't had refineries built in decades, right? We're going to have refineries built again, folks. We use refineries from other countries. I mean, the whole thing is just crazy. It's crazy. On infrastructure, I'll ask Congress to pass legislation that produces $1 trillion of new investments in America's crumbling infrastructure. And that's so true. I have a friend, he's one of the biggest truckers in the world, and he buys these very expensive trucks. I won't give you the name, but the most expensive, most beautiful, he's so proud of it, the best. And he calls me not so long ago, and he goes, you know, I travel from Texas to New York. I travel from Louisiana to someplace. He said, I come back and my trucks are all busted up because of the roads. I said, when did that happen before? He said, never happened. He says, never been like this. They're all busted up. And he said he's going to buy cheap trucks from now on. So I guess that's, we want him to buy the better trucks. We want to fix up our infrastructure, big league. That includes, and who's better at that stuff than me? Believe me. Hey, I don't need your vote anymore, but I'm telling you, I'm very good at that. That's right, I don't need your vote. Can you imagine that? 4 years I'll need your vote. But nobody's better at that. That's what I do. But it just made a big impression. You know, when he told me this, it said, man. But I asked him, what did it used to be? He said, never been like this, never. New projects, we're going to do new projects for both rural communities and our inner cities. And that's been forgotten too. If you think the inner cities have been forgotten also, not any longer. And we will put our people back to work in the process, our people. It's time to get help for the American people. And we are going to get people off of welfare and they're going to want to work. We're going to get them into the labor market, and they're going to do a great job, and they're going to make good money, much more money than they ever made before. And we're going to rebuild our country with American hands by American workers, okay? My administration will follow two simple rules: buy American and hire American, okay? Because from now on, it's going to be America first. America first. Our trade deficit is now nearly $800 billion a year. Can you believe that? Who's doing this? Do you have any business people in the audience? Do you think you might be able to negotiate a slightly better deal than that? 800 billion. We make all these wonderful trade deals. I love trade, and I love free trade. But right now, we have foolish trade. We have, okay, ready? We have stupid trade, stupid trade. Stupid. It's dumb. It's a chronic drag on growth and a destroyer of jobs and the wealth of our country. And you see what's happening. We owe $20 trillion, and it's going up rapidly. That's why we'll renegotiate our trade deals, stop the product dumping, and the currency manipulation, which is a disaster for our country. Every time we get going, China and others, they just knock the hell out of the value of their currency, and we have to go back, and it just doesn't work, folks. And we're going to defend every last American job. You know, they did a big report. How come Trump won by so much? Remember, there was no way he gets to 270, right? The Electoral College, which is amazing because you have to go to all these states, and it was an amazing experience. But there's no way I get to 270. And I'm saying, wow. In fact, I went to the state of Maine 4 times because I needed one. Because I was at 269, I needed one. Until the election came, and then, boy, did we blast by that 270, right? We blasted. 306. 306. And I guess they did a recount in Wisconsin, and after, I think, 70 or 80%, I think we picked up 32 votes. All these millions and millions of votes, I think we picked up about 30. And if a company wants to fire their workers, leave our country, and then ship their products back in, there will be consequences, including a very, very substantial tax. In other words, look, there's no tax. There's no tax. Somebody said, you know, these reporters, these guys, they're business reporters. The one thing we have done, we have exposed the credibility of the press. They have the lowest credibility of anybody. And our popularity, I say our because this is a movement that we're all in this thing together. We're all in this together, but we are shooting up. We're like a rocket ship, right? Maybe because I don't like $4.2 billion aircraft. Somebody said, how much is that going to cost? $4.2 billion. I said, $4.2 billion. I think we'll do it for a little bit less. Don't you agree? Like maybe billions less, okay? But yeah, we're going very rapidly up. But we're going to, because it's common sense. We don't want companies to leave our country, go to another country, and sell their product, and then sell the product where they left. Now we have all unemployed people. They had jobs for 32 years. I mean, Carrier is a great example. And Carrier, we did a great job with Carrier, but you know, they announced 1.5 years ago they already have a plant built. I mean, think of what you could do if they haven't started or if they haven't said anything yet. They're not going to leave because we're going to put up a very high tax. And if they want to build their plant outside of this country, that's fine. But if they think they're going to sell their product back into the country and have no tax, that's not going to happen anymore, folks. Not going to happen. And therefore, they're not going to leave. Now, they may leave a state and go to a different state. They may leave, maybe they're having a hard time with their employees. That's possible. And they may leave, but they're going to leave for another state. They're not leaving for another country very easily. And if they do, they're going to have a very, very substantial tariff or tax to pay. That's it. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to say, we like Louisiana very much, right? We're not leaving. All right. I don't say 100% of the time, but I'll tell you what, pretty close to that number. It's going to be pretty close. And we lost 70,000 factories in this country. We have so many companies right now, although I think probably, if I would have said a couple of months ago, we have so many companies negotiating to leave, I don't think they're negotiating so fast right now. I've heard that. And you see what's happening with the stock market and a lot of things. Because they understand, we know what we're doing. We're not going to let this happen. We can't let it happen. Our country is being drained of its jobs, and its good jobs. And they're going to other countries, and just not going to happen. On the military, we will rebuild our badly depleted military and ensure that our service members have equipment and training, technology and resources, everything they need to get the job done. Now, hopefully, we will never have to use that great power that we're going to build. We are going to build the strongest military that we've ever had. And there have been few times when our country has needed it to this extent. But I believe in peace through strength. You look at some of these other countries, what they're doing, what they're building, and you know what? When they see what we're going to do, they're going to call, and I'm going to have great relationships with China and Russia and all of them. And they're going to call and they say, you're doing a lot of building. Is there any way we can sort of ease it up a little bit? I'm okay with that, but they have to ease it up too. They're not easing it up. If you look at what's going on in China, if you look at what's going on in so many other countries, they're not easing up. And if they're not easing up, we're not easing up, okay? At the same time, we will ensure our veterans have the best medical care anywhere in the world. We will honor those who have served this country, and that includes respecting and defending the American flag. Frankly, when I see people ripping up the American flag, like that flag, beautiful, when I see it, I think it's a disgrace, okay? And you can say what you want, free speech, it's all wonderful, everything's wonderful. I'm a big believer in free speech, but maybe we're going to be putting something in to see if we can do something about it, because this is a special case, and when I see people burning the American flag and then stepping on it as it's burning up, and then stomping on it and stepping on it on the ground, I don't think I remember that when I was growing up. Is that right? How many of you guys are young like me? Remember when we were very young? I don't remember that happening. So I think we're going to have to do something about that. On crime, the murder rate has experienced its largest increase in 45 years. The press doesn't tell you that. We're going to support the incredible men and women of law enforcement, and we're going to bring this terrible crime wave to an end. On immigration, we will build a great wall, and we will put an end to illegal immigration and stop the drugs from pouring into our country also. We've become a drug den. During this campaign, I had a chance to meet the amazing families of the Remembrance Project, parents whose children were killed by illegal immigrants. A Trump administration will end this long nightmare of violence, and that's what it is. It's a nightmare of violence. We will fight to protect every American life. During the campaign, I also spent time with American workers who were laid off and forced to train foreign workers brought in to replace them. We're not going to let that happen anymore, folks. They're forced to train people. They were laid off. They've been at different places for 30 years, more, less, and they're forced to train. And if you don't train them, we're not giving you any severance. Not going to happen, because that's actually demeaning. It's not going to happen. One of my first executive orders will be to ask the Department of Labor to investigate all visa abuses that undermine jobs and wages for the American worker. This is about our country now. This is about our country. You know, I've studied a lot of the trade deals over the last few months. I love reading this stuff. I don't know, something strange up there when I went. But we have the worst deals. I looked at trade deals that were made with Mexico. The worst deal made with all of Mexico. So they made a lot of deals, not just us, not just NAFTA, which is a disaster. They made a lot of deals. We have the worst deal made by any country. Now, we're by far the biggest. We blow everything away. But we have the worst deal made by any country. And it was defective from the time it was done because of the VAT tax. They didn't really take it into account. It's complicated, it doesn't matter. But it was defective. And for decades, nobody changed it because they were too lazy, or they didn't want to do it, or they didn't understand it. But for years, that deal was defective. It's not going to be defective anymore. To protect our country from terrorism extremism, we will suspend immigration from regions where it cannot be safely processed or vetted. I mean, we have people coming into our country by the thousands, thousands and thousands of people. And now I don't have to campaign, so I don't have to say, and Hillary's going to increase it by 550%. No, I don't have to say it anymore. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice? No, I don't have to say it anymore. But think of it. We have people coming in by the tens of thousands. And look, folks, we have enough problems. We have enough problems. We can't do this. We're going to build safe zones. We're going to have certain areas, the Gulf states, tremendous amounts of money. Thank you, darling. I love her too, but I'd get in trouble if I say that, so I'm not going to say it. But we're going to have people from the Gulf states themselves are going to pay for it. They're going to pay for it. They have nothing but money. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're fine. They're going to pay for it. We're not going to pay. We owe $20 trillion, but we want to make homes for these people because it's a tragedy, the migration. And it started, you know why it started. I don't have to go through it. I don't have to go through it. We're not running for office. Well, isn't that nice to say we're not running for office? I don't have to go through this all. I don't have to go through all the reasons. The fact is, it's a human tragedy, and we're going to help it. We're going to help it. But that doesn't mean we're going to allow people to come into our country, some of whom have evil intentions. And you see in Ohio State, I was there the other day, and great people, the damage done by one person. You look at so many different places, San Bernardino, and I mean, look at the World Trade Center. Look at what happened in Orlando. There's such evil spirit, evil intention. We have other problems. We have to solve many, many problems. And, you know, we've spent now $6 trillion in the Middle East. Think of it, $6 trillion. And yet, we got nothing. You know what we have? We got nothing. He says, what do we get out of it? Nothing. You know what we got out of it? Death. We got destruction. We have all this money that we owe. The whole thing is crazy. With that being said, we have to stop ISIS. We have to knock them out. Have no choice. Have to knock them out. We'll do that. I'll say General Mad Dog Mattis. He's great. He's great. He's a great guy. He's a great guy. And we have another great person going to be named, not a lot of them, but in terms of what we're talking about next week, somebody that you're going to have tremendous respect for also. A Trump administration will always put the safety and security of the American people first. Ethics reform will be a crucial part of our 100-day plan as well. We're going to drain the swamp of corruption in Washington, D.C. Drain the swamp. Thank you. It always amazes me, here we are on a Friday and sort of a crazy time of the day, right? How many people show up for these things, right? That's when I knew. By the way, people ask, when did you know? I was campaigning, we always had these big crowds, but that last month was unbelievable, the crowds. They were massive. We were taking stadiums, they were packing them in. And when they had a higher entertainment, because I said, I don't know if that means anything, but I think it does. And then we won Pennsylvania, and we won Michigan, we won Wisconsin, we won all these different places. It's a beautiful thing to see, I will say. The spirit of what we've all done together is incredible. And you'll see, thank you. And you'll see a lot of things happen. A lot of it's common sense, to be honest with you. A lot of it's just common sense. A lot of the people that voted, they're great people, they love the country, but they haven't voted in 20 years, 30 years. Boy, did they vote. Boy, did they vote. But they come in, here's people that have never voted in some cases, and yet they're great people. And they're hardworking, and but they just never saw the person they want to vote. And now they come down and they have Trump shirts on, Trump hats, they have buttons coming off the hats. So they go from never voting to being all messed up with the stuff, right? But you know what? These are amazing people, and they did. I remember, I got a little glimpse because they have that long early voting in Florida. I mean, so long. And so many things could go wrong when you have that long period of time, right? That long period. Used to be you'd have a day, you vote. Now you're going forever, weeks and weeks. But the first day I passed one, I was down in Florida, I passed one of these lines. I said, well, what's happening over there? I thought it was like a big movie. They said, no, sir, that's voting. They're voting. And they're voting like really early. And we have to discuss that early thing. That's sort of, so many things are going on, so many things. I wonder what happens during the evenings when those places are locked, right? But the Democrats, who are the people who say, Donald Trump is criticizing the foundations of our country. Give me a break. Give me a break. President Obama, who, by the way, I've gotten along with so well. No. He's really doing great. He's been so nice. But 8 years ago, he talked about in Chicago what goes on. Okay? They don't talk about it anymore. And believe me, it's only gotten worse, folks. Only gotten worse. So we got to talk about it. But I'm going to impose a 5-year ban on executive branch officials becoming lobbyists and a lifetime ban on officials becoming lobbyists for a foreign government. And I thought, when I got involved in this Boeing situation, and I have great respect for Boeing, by the way, tremendous respect, but I said to myself, the people that spend all this money, when you're talking about $3 and $4 billion for an airplane, which is, who knows? But when you're talking about the kind of money, I said, let me ask you, who gives these orders out? Now, there are people, procurement people. Now, some of these people then go to work for these companies. I think I'm going to, and I'm going to have to check this out. They're not going to like me to say this. But I think I'm going to impose a ban that anybody that gives out these massive military contracts should never, ever be allowed to work, ever. I don't mean in 5 years, in 10 years. Should never be allowed to work for those companies that make the equipment. I mean, they're giving out, this F-35 bomber, which is total, or fighter, that's totally, like uncontrollably over budget. And the people that give out those contracts and the people that have to approve the big change orders and the extras, as we say in the real estate business. I mean, when you're good, you don't build with these extras. But these massive numbers where they're doubled and tripled, I think anybody that gives out these big contracts should never, ever, during their lifetime, be allowed to work for a defense company, for a company that makes that product. I don't know, it makes sense to me. Because I'm sure it's never happened. I'm sure it's never, ever happened in the history of our country. But I can see somebody approving a deal that they shouldn't approve and then getting, maybe prior to that approval, right? Look, he's shaking his head. This guy's a great businessman. He's saying, absolutely, right? 100%. They're saying, hey, listen, we'd love you to work for the company. By the way, let's finish up this order. We want you to work for the company after you're finished. like, how about next year? How about next month? Let's get this finished. And then all of a sudden, you get stuck with a horrible contract, and these people go off, even if it's 2 years or 5 years. I don't think they should ever be allowed to work for these companies. And if they take the job and they know that, it's fair. But I'll bet you would see a big, big difference, because the purchasing in this country is totally out of control for everything, not only military, for everything. I had that idea yesterday. I have a lot of little ideas. You know, you get ideas when you're in business, but you get ideas as you go along. But I just saw, and I never saw numbers like this, the massive numbers of overruns, cost overruns. It bears no relationship to the original contract. So I think we're going to have to think. I think that might be a lot more important than what we're talking about, even with the lobbyists, okay? Does that make sense to the business people? So we face many challenges, but this is truly an exciting time to be alive. The script is not yet written. We do not know what the page will read tomorrow, except for those very young people, right? They're going to be happy. You're going to be very, very happy, the young ones, huh? We're going to make sure. I think if we had a different result, they wouldn't have been so happy. But for the first time in a long time, what we do know is that the pages will be authored by you, by all of us. The American people will be in charge. Your voice, your desires, your hopes and aspirations will never again fall on deaf ears, and they were on deaf ears. You will be the captains of your destiny once more. Together we will raise incomes, and your incomes are going to go up. And your incomes are going to go up. You know, we have this phony unemployment number that you look around for a job, you can't find it, you go and quit, you go home to your wife or your husband or your parents, and they consider you statistically employed. And then they say we're down at 5%, then 4.9%. It's nonsense. But we want incomes to go up, and we want to create millions and millions of new jobs, and that's what we're going to do. And we can't lose our companies. Can't lose our companies if we're going to do that. We will lower taxes, unleash American energy, and bring thousands of new companies to our shores. We will reestablish the rule of law and appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of our country. And by the way, I used to, you know, the Never Trumpers, remember, they're on a respirator right now, they're gasping. You know, they're gasping for air. And many of them have been great. They've come over and they've been great. But I used to, when, you know, early on when we had the never Trump, I will never vote for Trump. Some of those people are now saying, I'd only vote for Trump. I love this guy. It's crazy. But they didn't know me. They didn't know. But, you know, I used to say, if for no other reason, if for, like this character in Utah, right? Who the hell was he? I mean, what happened to him? Remember, he was going to win Utah. He was a conservative. He said, here's a conservative, and he's going to win Utah. I said, so what? He wins Utah. So what does it mean? So let's say that it mattered a lot, and I lost, so that means that Hillary would have gotten to appoint justices of the United States Supreme Court, right? I'm trying to figure out. And by the way, not only did he not win Utah, I won Utah in a massive landslide, even though the press was saying we're tied. He came in third place. Hillary beat him. So I don't know what happened to this guy, but I thought it was terrible because it was so destructive. And I used to say to people, if for no other reason, vote for me. If for no other reason, it's the United States Supreme Court, right? And Justice Scalia, who was great, I heard about 2 weeks ago, I heard his wife, who is an unbelievable woman and respected. She had signs, Trump signs on her front lawn in Washington or Virginia. But she had Trump signs, just like that one. Trump Pence. How good is Pence, by the way, right? Is he good? A lot of times if they question something I'm doing, they'll say, well, but he picked Mike Pence. I mean, how can you do better than that? Mike Pence is great. But you know what? She has Trump signs and I called her. And I said, hi, and I just wanted to thank you for the signs on your lawn. She said, I have them on my car, too. She's phenomenal. She's going to be at the inauguration, but what a phenomenal woman. But her husband, I mean, we thought he'd be around for a long time, and these are the things that happen. So we have to replace Justice Scalia with a person that is as close to Justice Scalia, if that's possible, as we can get, and we'll be doing that. But I used to say to people, I mean, forget about everything else, justices of the United States Supreme Court. We'll fight for our great schools, and we want to make them incredible. We want to make our schools really good. Right now, they have big problems in many cases, but we're going to fight for them. We will restore respect for our country. We're going to restore respect for every inch of our soil, and we're going to restore the respect of our people. Our people love this country. We love it. To us, it is a great country. But when I say make America great again, that's what I'm talking about. That theme has really caught on because it's make America great again. And it will be great again. And it will happen quickly. We will heal our divisions and unify our country. In fact, you know, Time Magazine, they were both nice and a little bit wise guy yesterday. They gave me the Person of the Year. It used to be called the Man of the Year. Now it's called the Person of the Year. That's good. They're politically correct. They were very politically correct. Who'd rather have it the Man of the Year? Look, the women are all... Okay, seriously, because it's Person of the Year. So for years it was the Man of the Year, right? And I think even if a woman was named, it was the Man of the Year. So it's a little bit shaky. Who would rather have it be the Person of the Year? I got a lot of women here. What about the women? Let's do it again. Who would rather have it be the Person of the Year? A couple of people. Who would rather have it be the Man of the Year? I don't know. Maybe why that could be why the magazine business isn't so great, right? I don't know. Think of that. All the women wanted to be the Man of the Year. Anyway, who cares? But it's Person of the Year. But they said, you know, looking over a divided nation. You saw that. So they're taking a shot. I said, wait a minute, I haven't run this yet. I haven't run it. So they're not, you know, you're trying to be a little bit nasty, but I haven't run anything. So it is a divided nation. We're going to bring our nation together. When Americans are unified, there is nothing we cannot do, no task too great, no dream too large, no goal beyond our reach. My message today is, number one, get out to vote tomorrow for John Kennedy. That's number one. And our great soon-to-be congressman, you got to get out to vote. And I pay my respects to his family. Today is for all Americans, from all parties, all beliefs, all walks of life. No matter your age, your income, your background. I'm asking you to join this incredible movement. There has never been a movement like this. There actually hasn't. You know, yesterday they were talking about, they were trying to find a comparable. You know, usually you go back to Reagan, you go back to something, right? It's not so long ago. Although, in the history of the state of Louisiana, I was just told this backstage by all of my people, we got more votes than any Republican in the history of the state of Louisiana. Is that good? Is that good? Man. I want to give up some of them for John Kennedy tomorrow. We'll take 10% off the top. So I'm asking you to dream big and bold and daring things for yourself and for your country. I'm asking you to believe in yourself again, and I'm asking you to believe in America again. And if we do that, then all together, we will make America so very strong again. We will make America rich again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, Louisiana. God bless you. It's great to be here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Great place.